advertisements in virtual reality. Unfortunately, it seems like it's becoming a reality according to a new update by Oculus. But what exactly does that mean? Is it going to be intrusive? Is it going to fill our field of view like in Ready Player One? Let's talk about it today on BMF VR. Advertisements aren't something new to most of us that have been using the internet for any length of time. Whether it's mobile applications, websites, or even YouTube videos, or Google search results, we see advertisements absolutely everywhere. So now what happens when VR becomes a place that is no longer a safe haven from advertisements? Well, first of all, let's talk about what exactly this means and what is included as part of this new initiative. First of all, as far as we know, right now, it is not going to be like that scene in Ready Player One that I know you were thinking about, where the ads are popping up into your field of view, and it is nearly seizure-inducing. That is not what the plan is. Currently, what we know is that Blast On will be the first game to feature ads inside of the actual VR game. You're seeing an image on the screen right now of an ad placed inside of a Blast On arena. This is an ad that says fast free delivery, Jasper's Market. This seems to indicate that this is going to be local advertisements just like you get on Facebook, which to me is not good. I personally don't care about getting local ads inside of virtual reality. I don't want to get an ad for a plumbing company because I was searching for how to fix my pipes while I'm playing some sort of VR game. I want to escape from the real world. Now, if this was advertisements for a VR accessory or even a VR game, it would be different to start with. But having advertisements for something in the outside world creates a hole in my virtual experience. It means I'm seeing something that is accessible in the real world that is breaking that level of immersion inside of some of these games. That's the first thing that worries me about these advertisements. Not that they're going to be intrusive necessarily, because as far as we know right now anyways, they're not going to pop up in your field of view and force you to watch a video that you can't skip before you can access your actual game. It's going to be built into these games. And as far as we know right now, there's only Blast On that is getting this, and there's 2 other games coming, but they have not announced which ones as of yet. But we'll get into what games could be using this in just a second. For me personally, it's really about immersion. So if I'm racing on a racetrack in a car and there's a billboard up above me that is advertising something, okay, that is not a big deal. I'm used to product placements and advertising in most video games. In fact, it's very common in flat video games, so I'm not really worried about stuff like that. Even stuff like what you're seeing here in Blast On, even if it was a local advertisement that dynamically changed based on the search results that I'd used or what I was looking at, whatever, Google does the same thing all the time. It might be immersion breaking, but I can get past that. What I'm not 100% sold on is the fact that they're interactive ads, it would seem like. So instead of just being a billboard, if I click on it, it actually allows me to save a link or open it. So what happens if I'm in the middle of a battle in Blast On and I accidentally click on the ad while I'm trying to grab one of my guns or shoot at my opponent? Does that mean it pops up in my field of view with the Oculus browser, and now I've got to try to exit out of the browser in the middle of a match? That could be quite annoying. To me, if they're going to do advertisements of any kind in VR, it needs to be tastefully done. I'm not opposed to offsetting the cost of games or allowing developers to earn a revenue so that it's more lucrative for them to be able to make these games and put them on the Oculus platform. We all knew it was only a matter of time before Oculus did that because it is owned by Facebook, and Facebook is an advertising company. So it's no surprise to me that this was coming, but there are a few things that I think need to happen to make sure that the optimal experience for VR can stick around. And one of those is not being able to accidentally click on the advertisements and not having them be ultra intrusive, and they need to fit into the world that we're actually in. That means having a game like Pro Putt, for instance. Maybe an advertiser wants to be in that game that is a beverage company or a food company. Maybe they advertise by putting something interactive into the world, or even a banner or a sign inside of the world. Okay, that's fine. If that's the way that it's going to go, that's the way it's going to go. What I want, though, is I want to make sure that I can go into these virtual worlds and not be reminded of an outside world, specifically in the places that I'm trying to go to change the reality that I'm in. I don't go into VR to be reminded of what's going on in the outside world. I go into it to be able to be a part of a totally new world, and ads are going to take away from that. I do hope that this stays away from certain types of experiences. Now, according to Boz, he did say that this will be up to developers to implement, and it'll be designed so that they can make a part of the revenue from these advertisements, just as if you own a website and you're allowing ads to be put on your website to earn a commission, which is incredibly common in the normal world. So that part of it actually makes some semblance of sense. But as long as the developers actually have the ability to stop ads from being there in the first place. Games like Blaston, okay, they can get away with it. ProPuff, they could get away with it. Forever Bowling could get away with it. These games where it would make sense to have some sort of a billboard where you're racing, where you're doing a sport, something like that. But a game like The Wizards, for instance, or some sort of medieval game with a billboard in there or a poster on a wall, that makes no sense whatsoever. And it could really damage the experience even more than just having a billboard in a game that it might make sense in. The unfortunate thing is we really don't know where this is going to go. Is this going to become the Ready Player One situation where we're getting ads everywhere and all of these ads are going to be damaging to this experience? Or is it going to be something that is designed to help developers put some extra cash in their pocket and give them an additional incentive to be on the Oculus platform? If that's the case, then so be it. We'll see how it goes, how people react, what kind of advertisements we're going to see, all of the above, all that stuff that's going on. If it's going to be intrusive and it's going to literally destroy the immersion level of these story-based games, then I am definitely not for any of this. Based on a lot of the feedback I've seen on comments, on Facebook itself, when I posted on Twitter, it's split what people think of this. Some people think that it's okay with free games. You're going to get ads to subsidize the cost of these free games so we could see games popping up that are free to play with advertisements. Some people say that they want the games to be cheaper. If they're paying for a full gaming experience, they shouldn't have to worry about ads being in a game. Some people are just okay with it as long as it's not intrusive and they realize that the cost of a Quest is so low and that's being subsidized by Facebook, and they're willing to take that on as a part of the platform. To be honest, I align somewhere in the middle. I am not excited about getting ads in VR, and I'm kind of leery, especially based on the image that we see with Jasper's Market. It sounds a lot like local marketing, and it's probably going to be different for each person watching. That ad slot will be taken up by some sort of ad, like a Facebook ad. I was talking with someone last night. I'm also worried about the type of ads we'll see, whether they're going to be inappropriate ads or political ads or things that shouldn't be there in the first place. Facebook doesn't have the best track record of being able to limit what ads are shown. I'm afraid that we could get some inappropriate stuff. They're going to have to really tighten the belt if that's what they're doing for virtual reality and make sure every single ad is approved by a human person and checked 100%. Honestly, it kind of depresses me to think about that, the fact that we now have to talk about this so soon after the platform has exploded the way that it has. In my opinion, and this might not be 100% accurate, this could be the bad news before the good news. And what I mean is last year, before the Quest 2 was officially announced, Facebook announced that they are requiring a Facebook login. They knew that it was going to be bad news. I don't remember when that was. It might even have been about this time. It was sometime in the summertime of last year, right before Connect. And then there was leaks coming out about the Quest 2, and then the Quest 2 launched and it exploded. So in my opinion, this actually could be not a cover, but it could be the bad news they're releasing to allow people to kind of get used to this idea, and then they're going to release a new something, whether it is a new hardware, new big game. It could be a Quest Pro that's coming out next year, could be a Quest 3, whatever it is. That could be the case. They're trying to get the bad news out of the way first, and then the good news comes, and people kind of move past the bad news based on the fact that this new thing is even better than the previous thing, which is kind of what happened with the Facebook login. That's kind of a game Facebook could be playing. Now, I'm not trying to take and analyze the thought process behind what Facebook's doing. I'm just speculating on my own. And going back to the ads in VR, what should we expect when it comes to advertising inside of these games? Nobody really knows what's going to happen in the next 6 months or the next year. I hope that if they're going to do this, they're going to test it and they're going to get some community backlash from certain things. They're going to get developers that don't want to do certain things because it's going to alienate people from their product. And they're going to start to realize that the retention is going to drop if they do too much of this. I think that people are smart and they're not going to want to play with ads that are getting in their way. And Oculus will see a reduction in retention based on certain types of ads. Now, this one in Blast On probably won't make that big of a difference, as you might not pay attention to it while you're actually playing, but anything more obtrusive than this that's going to get in the way of the actual game, I believe, will affect the longevity of the platform because it's going to cause people to stop playing as much. Developers are going to see a reduction in the retention. They're going to see less people buying their products, more people returning them, especially if they get these ads. So that would be a massive negative, and hopefully that will help shape what this is going to be into something that actually helps developers and hopefully doesn't destroy the VR experience for each one of us. All right, so there you go. That's what we know so far. That is my thoughts on the matter, plus a whole bunch of random ramblings, letting you know what I think about what's going on, and what do you think? I really want to know what your thoughts are on this whole matter. Please let me know down in the comments whether you're totally against it, whether you understand it, whether you're going to burn your headset, whatever you're going to do. Please let me know down in the comments how this is going to affect you and what you think about it. And if you want to get the most out of your Quest and your Quest, don't forget to hit that subscribe button down there and the bell icon for notifications. Plus, you can check out even more of my videos right there. Thank you so much for watching. Stay safe and happy questing.